Today, for our first session, we have Anne Mary George. She is an IFS officer and an ex-MECN. She had from MEC in 2014 and went on to join the civil services and has made all of us so proud. Welcome, Miss Anne. We're so delighted to have you here. But before we begin our session, I would like my co-host Jairam, who's also representing the MEC Mun Society, one of our most active clubs, to say a few words about it.
There was a girl who walked across our campus just like every one of us. She was born and raised in Kochi. She completed her schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya, Kadavantara. She did her electronics and communication engineering from our Model Engineering College in 2014. She had done a unique internship at the Planning Commission in New Delhi, now known to us as Niti Aayog. With her dedication and perseverance, she cleared the UPSC exam with 123rd rank and opted to pursue IFS. She is none other than the diplomat at Indian Embassy in France and our private pride, Anne Mary George, IFS. We welcome you, ma'am, to the first Anne Connect to share your anecdotes on your inspiring career journey. Ma'am.
Okay, hello.
Yes.
I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. First of all, thanks to everyone in the team, Alum Connect team and the Excel Talks team, Principal Sir, MV Rajesh Sir, and all the people who have connected to this session. And I'm really glad, and I find it a privilege to be a part of this webinar today. And I hope I can speak a little bit of Malayalam and English, and it might be. So, Rose and enne vilichadu, and I'm not able to see her here now, but I hope there was a big team behind this who worked on it to make this a success today. So, ഞാൻ ഇപ്പം ജയറാം പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ KV-യിലാണ് ജനിച്ചതും വളർന്നതെല്ലാം കൊച്ചിയിലാണ്. KV കടവന്ത്രയിലാണ് പഠിച്ചത്. And in the beginning, I was just like everyone. I had different ideas for future. ചെറുതായിരുന്നപ്പം ടീച്ചർ ആവണമെന്നായിരുന്നു ആഗ്രഹം, പിന്നെ ഡോക്ടർ ആവണമെന്നായിരുന്നു ആഗ്രഹം. And then by the time I came to 11th, 12th standard, I started thinking about this slightly more seriously. What do I really want to do? So all of us want to end up in a career where, which gives us satisfaction. Now, what is the satisfaction that we seek? A career which gives us enough money so that we can take care of our loved ones. A career which gives us some amount of reputation, maybe, that will help us do the things that we want to do. And most importantly, enjoy what we are doing. So, in Aloviche, I was kind of lost, just like most of the people are during the 11th, 12th standard initial college years. And I think KV, your advantage was that the chairman of KV is the collector, district collector. So, every annual day, sports day celebration, he comes and he gives, a speech or inaugurates something, and that kind of gives you a small outlet in the world of civil services. And that kind of gave the initial idea. But that was just the very, very beginning. And then I came to MEC. That was in 2010. I was in MEC from 2010 to 2014. And that is the time which solidified my, dream, maybe you can say, my aspiration to be to come into the services. Aniram, in the first year itself, I remember there was this Make a Difference camp that happened. I hope it's still there in the college. They come and kind of recruit first and second year students to teach in orphanages and juvenile homes. So anyway, in college, we are having ample time, even though the studies are crucial. Okay, not to tell teachers, but we have ample time for extracurricular activities, and I was so interested, and we joined like everyone else. I got this new outlook, new perspective of the kind of satisfaction that we get when we work in the society, when we work for the good of someone that we don't know, when we see a smile of a person we are seeing probably for the first and the last time, And that is the real satisfaction that I thought is required in life. But still, that is just another budding element which added on to my initial thing of civil services. And right now, even though at that time I did not realize it to that extent, MEC was a crucial point in my career turn. കാരണം മിക്കവാറും കുറെ ആൾക്കാർ പറയാറുണ്ട് ഐ ഐ ടിയിലും IIM-ലൊക്കെ പോയിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ വിൽ ഹാവ് മച്ച് ബിഗർ എക്സ്പോഷർ, NIT-ൽ പോയിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ വി ഹാവ് എ മച്ച് വൈഡർ നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് ആൻഡ് ഓൾ ദാറ്റ്. പക്ഷേ because I was in MEC is much more connected to the society. In most of these high-fi colleges, what happens is the college is an institution in itself. There's a hospital, there's everything inside the campus that you never step out of the campus. But that's not the case in MEC. And that's a blessing in disguise, which many times we don't realize. So we got more and more connected to the society, and that gave the second spark. And also, a part of that is that if you have a dream, it is your responsibility to stand up for it. If we don't stand up for our dream, no one in the world will stand up for it. Like in the initial period of when you want to be something, when you dream of something, when you dream of a career, it's like a small seed. And even though a seed has a lot of potential, it can one day grow into a very big tree, which can stand storms, which can, give lifeline to a lot of animals, which could be the central point of a society. But in the initial stages, as a seed, it is very fragile. It's very weak. It is in its most nascent stage where a cat or a dog walking by can trample it. A wild animal can just chew it and throw it off. So that is the time when we need to stand up for what we dream. Delhi is like a booming economy, which, there's a place called Karol Bagh, which the central point of the existence of Karol Bagh is UPSC preparation. Like every turn you take, you have a new building, which is a coaching center. And, on the road, when you walk, you cannot walk without, even a chai wala telling you about the current affairs that has come out today. So, അവിടെയാണ് ഞാൻ പ്രിപ്പറേഷന് വേണ്ടി പോയത്. പക്ഷെ now the things have changed a lot. It's not necessary to go to Delhi. It's not, now there are a lot of good coaching institutes that have come up in Kerala, which are available online. So anyway, just after my college days in 2014, I passed out and I gave my exam in I think July 2014, and it was a blooper because I was prepared and I just gave the exam as such and I failed, of course, and it was expected, so I was fine. But then I went for my serious preparation. I dedicated 1 whole year for this preparation, irrespective of what people said. All my batchmates were, most of them were placed and they were having a real good time of their life, partying after work, and they had their own income. People were starting to, buy car and awesome bikes and starting home loans and all, and I am still stuck in the post-college days, nothing happening to my life. But it went on, and the first proper examination, I attempted the prelims, and I was hopeful because I had prepared very well. But fortunately or unfortunately, the result was negative, and that was a big thing to take in. കാരണം കിട്ടിയ ജോലിയും കളഞ്ഞിട്ട് നാട്ടുകാരെ പറഞ്ഞത് കേൾക്കാതെ പേരൻസിന്റെ കാശും കൊണ്ട് ഡൽഹി പോയി പ്രിപ്പയറും ചെയ്ത് now you have not even cleared, and people are still like, ഞാൻ അന്നേ നിന്നോട് പറഞ്ഞതാണ് ആവശ്യമില്ലാത്തതൊന്നും കയറി ഇറങ്ങണ്ട. It's not meant for people like us, you and me. It's meant for bougie people who are drinking the civil service milk from childhood എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ. So that was the deeper like the down point of the preparation time. But again, it's the same thing. If you have a dream, stand up for it. And you're anyway halfway through it. If you give up now, like, it doesn't help at all. It's as good as not having started in the beginning. And then, same thing, I had a couple of good friends who were very supportive. My family was very supportive. But at the end of the day, I really knew that, if I don't give another proper attempt, I will regret it for my life. So then I gave my second attempt and it went well. Thankfully, prelims, mains, interview, moonam clear aayi. And I got into the services. Similarly, the kind of exposure it gives. During the training time, we have this village visit, which is also a 1 week visit that we go to one of the, one of the most underdeveloped, maybe you can say like that, villages in India, which is not at all comparable to any village in Kerala. Mostly ഞാൻ പോയത് ഒരു നക്സൽ affected വില്ലേജിലായിരുന്നു in Bihar, and we stayed there in a panchayat house, and we could clearly see the world that the people in that village live in. Like one caste not able to talk to another caste, and there are no pakka roads. There is a school building, but where no one goes. All the kids are either working, even very tiny kids who are working, or they are just roaming around aimlessly. So that kind of opens your eyes to what is real life in some of the parts of our own country. Doing a long-term visionary kind of policy making kind of thing, in which we project India into the world, represent India in different platforms. We see what are the opportunities that we can bring back to India, or what are the platforms that we can give to young entrepreneurs, people, Indians abroad, and then also reach out to whenever there is a problem. So IFS training center is more about interacting with the best minds. Of late, maybe Malayalikku civil service not atra talparyam pora, probably because of all the politician bashing that we see in media and all. But for them, I say IFS is something that is more stable with respect to work-life balance, not like compared to IPS and IAS, because we are working more on a long scale thing rather than immediate emergency management kind of situation. Secondly, there is very little political interference. Karanam, we don't get to interact that much also with politicians, which is a good thing because we have our own flexibility and freedom to direct our work in whichever direction we want to. And then it goes into the IAS officer's hand, and then they take it to the politician. And thirdly, for all the people who would like to, go across the world, explore the world, if there is a job that lets you do that, then why not? So now there are lots of stories that I can tell about the career and training and everything, but I guess I'll conclude my little story that Rose asked me to do and open it up for Q&As or questions or anything.
Okay, despite the busy schedule of a BTech student, how can aspirant be able to prepare in small ways in the college itself?
Okay, college, see, it's a myth that we need to prepare from childhood for civil services. So college samayam, the major preparation comes probably 1 or 2 years before you give the examination. College samayam, namukku cheyan pattunna oru preparation is like laying the foundation. Just being an aware citizen, reading the newspapers, of course, or listening to the news, and just thinking about the things happening in Kerala and in India, and then developing an opinion regarding whether it should be like that, why it is like that, what would be an alternative, what would you do if you were in that place. Just forming an opinion and being aware about the things happening around you. That would be a very good foundation to transition into a proper preparation after the college times. But there are also people who go one step further. There are people who do, part-time coaching cheyyunna aalkarundu. In my personal opinion, it's not required. The better thing that you can do is probably, get hold of online classes, like a webinar. There are many modules available online. You can just listen to them.
Thank you, ma'am. So, taking few questions from the audience. One question is, can you please tell us about your interview experience?
Okay. My interview was in May 2017. What the pattern is, There is a round table in which there'll be chairman, and there are three or four, I think 3 people on the left and 3 people on the right, and you are sitting in the middle. So it's likely intimidating. Karanam, you have all these senior gray hair people sitting around you, and they're asking you questions. Thak, 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 thak. So, they take note of it. Is told that they also have a person who takes note of your behavior, of the way you enter, the way you are dressed, and all that. So, ഞാനൊരു Kerala side കൊടുത്താണ് പോയത്, like as a representative of Kerala. I hope that gave me 10 to 15 extra points. So. You go there well prepared. Interview is not a hit and go thing. It's not a thing of luck. Many people have this feeling that mains exam has around 9 papers. It's a very longish examination, 5 days, across 5 days, morning and evening, 3 hours each. It's a subjective paper. So people prepare a lot for the mains examination, and they kind of think that interview ho jayega. Adu angane nadannolu. So, there is proper preparation that's required for interview. You prepare from at least 2 to 3 dailies, and you make up possible questions and answers. You go for mock interviews, and then you go there on the final day. My experience was that in the beginning they asked me questions on my background, of course about schooling and college and my preferences, why I came into civil services. That's a very cliched question. We need to find an answer for why you come to civil services. And then there were questions on monsoon, about, and there was a rapid fire round in which they were asking me, this, they just tell me some, other expandient, short forms of expandient, like, I don't know, FICCI or some things like that. And there were questions on economy. So basically, the preparation for interview is going through current affairs, forming your opinions, giving your opinions in a crisp manner so that it doesn't go beyond 2 minutes, and with reasoning. It's more about practice and mock interviews, and it comes through.
Yeah, and I had a question for you. The question was, how far your engineering background has helped in your preparation for civil service? And is your engineering background relevant in your current profession?
Okay, thank you for the question, sir. And I feel really happy to at least see you on the video. Regarding my background, engineering background, helping in civil services, I think even though the individual subjects, there are 2 ways it can help. One, if we are taking engineering as an optional. Pakshe, I had taken public administration as optional, so that was not directly coming into the picture. Secondly, engineering subjects nammale help cheyyunnillengilum, the overall outlook regarding coming to a solution in a structured manner, like the outlook to problem solving, that helps a lot. പിന്നെ ഒരു കാര്യം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ in science and technology part, we have a lot of things the details regarding the working of new technology. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ science and technology part becomes strong. That was how it helped in preparation time. So if there are people who take one of the engineering subjects as an optional, it will be directly beneficial. Otherwise, the overall outlook in problem solving. So all of you are free to send me an email message. I might not respond immediately, but I'll eventually come to it. And it will be my pleasure to answer your questions on the preparation. My email ID is AANNMary@gmail.com. The coordinators have my contact. I mean, of course, not my phone number. Then it will keep ringing all the time. My email ID. And please feel free to contact me or any other person in the service and take guidance so that you don't waste your valuable time in preparing random things. And also, and keep up the Excel and the talks, the programs that you're holding. And I hope I'll be able to come visit the college after the Corona time is over. Shout out to all the people, all the organizers and Principal Sir and all of the faculty. Thanks a lot.
Jairam will give us a quick brief on the MUN Society of our college that was collaborating on this session with us.
Thank you, Neeta. MEC MUN Society was formed on 6th of February 2019 and celebrated its first anniversary this year. Our staff in charge is Dr. Dr. M.V. Rajesh, with the objective of encouraging more students to participate in MUNs. Although we have the term MUN, we don't just restrict ourselves to it. We also focus on sociopolitics, debates, international relations, and selecting a diverse career option. And most importantly, improving our soft skills. Big success of Mansoc was in 2019 when a cohort of 13 students from MEC got selected for Millennium Campus Network and UNIA presents Millennium Fellowship, where MEC was one of the 2 campuses in Kerala and one of 12 in Asia to be selected for the same. In the same year, IARC collaborated with MEC in host MEC Mansoc in conducting Rio Plus 24 and Plus 25 program. Mansoc also successfully conducted 2 intra-collegiate MUNs in March 2019 and 2020. The most important event, MEC MUN 2019, happened in October, where 100 delegates across India participated. We also conducted an EMUN via Zoom in May during the pandemic, and the money collected from participation week was given to the CMDRF program. Another successful venture is the Manners Daily blog. This initiative was started to help delegates win prizes in MUN and also to create awareness for themselves. One amongst us in MEC got a privilege to attend the Asia Youth International MUN in Malaysia, and we are proud to have him in our club. As a society, if we refer ourselves other than just a club, is committed in making the students of the day responsibly, socially committed citizens in future. I would like to request every one of you to be part of our initiative and events. We just don't restrict ourselves to the term MUN, and but overall we would like to put an effort in greater role in non-technical and overall training of students. Do follow our various social media handles and keep updated about our works and activities. Thank you so much for being part of this discussion.
Thank you, Jairam. With that, we come to the end of this session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I hope you found it interesting, engaging, and useful. I'm pretty sure you found it interesting, engaging, and useful. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a very good day. Have a very good life. We're all so proud of you. Thank you so much.